All right, so it looks like we are live, which is super awesome. And I'm not going to take up too much time today because I don't know if anyone's watched, but it's my first one, so it's going to be fun. And so I just wanted to talk today a little bit about materialism and how we as young people today seem to be affected by it a lot more than we actually realize. And what I mean by this is that a lot of times we'll actually hurt ourselves and hurt our chances of actually achieving our dreams because we waste our money on stuff to impress other people. So, for example, if you really, really want to, like, say, travel across Canada and, drive a van, but instead you're stuck, paying tuition for college that you didn't even want to go to, or you can't afford to because you just bought $1,000 Nikes or a new watch or something like that, like that kind of sucks. And I feel like we put ourselves in that negative position a lot more than we realize. And yeah, I just wanted to talk about, why do we do this and how being less materialistic and learning to live with a minimum requirement of what we actually need can actually empower us to, live the life of our dreams and actually work on things that are meaningful to us, that we actually like, things that actually make us happy. And you'll notice I mentioned college, and it's like, well, how is college or university materialistic? Isn't education important? Yes, education is very important. And I am a huge, huge advocate of education. And I think education is a lifelong endeavor that you should continue always. You should always be reading a new book, reading a new blog, listening to a new podcast, learning something new about the world that you live in so you can continue to grow as a person. I believe that continued growth is part of the key to continued happiness and continued fulfillment. So I think that's very, very important. But what I don't say is exactly how, when, or why, how, when, and where you get your education from. A college and university education is only useful if it helps you get a job that is meaningful, fulfilling, and helps you live a lifestyle that you can be proud of and happy in, which is different for everybody, by the way. Some people need more than others. Some people want to live a very modest and humble lifestyle. Some people need a little bit more. It's different for everybody. The problem I'm seeing a lot of times is kids will just sign up for university because they want to make $90,000 a year, and they'll be happy because they won't have any worries in life. Spoiler alert, you will. let me tell you that right now. Just because you make a lot of money doesn't mean your worries or problems go away. And I've been around long enough to sort of see that become a reality. And yeah, as someone who went to college for 3 years, graduated engineering, and then realized that, wait a minute, I actually hate this. I don't want to do this to my life. This sucks. I was so miserable near the end, and I just decided, hey, I'm not doing that anymore. And I think a lot of us, we fall into the trap of, oh, I need to make lots of money because I need to have lots of stuff. If I need to get a house and a mortgage and 2 cars, well, then yeah, you need to make a lot of money to pay off that debt. But what if you didn't want a house with 3 extra bedrooms that you didn't need? What if you didn't want to live in the city and pay $3,000 a month on a mortgage or more? What if you didn't want a brand new BMW that costs you $800 a month to pay off? Would you need as much money then? And quite frankly, the answer is no. And if you sort of try to reverse engineer and try to have a more of a minimalistic or an essentialist approach to life and realize that a lot of the things that I'm told I should want, the house, the picket fence, the cars, and everything, isn't necessarily that something that I need. Again, it's different for everybody. Some people really want that, and that's what makes you happy. Go for it. Do whatever you have to do. But I feel like a lot of us are just being told, hey, you need to achieve this so that you can buy these things and then you'll be happy in life. It's like so not true. So not true. Having a house with a picket fence and 2 cars, by the time you're 28 with $500,000 in debt isn't going to make you happy, and it's not going to make your life any more worth living. It'll be nice, but you may not be living the life that you actually dreamed of and the life that actually fulfills you to maximum potential. Again, it's different for everybody. So I think if we sort of reverse engineer what we really want in our hearts and take the time to become self-aware and realize, hey, I don't want you know, that $500,000 home. I don't want that $1 million home. I don't need two cars. Well, then I don't need that big of an income to make it. Maybe I don't actually need to go thousands of dollars into debt for a university degree that I don't even want to work in to begin with. Maybe I want to be a freelance photographer and travel the world. Do it. Like if you only your income really the amount of income you need really depends on how much stuff you need. And I think that if we just sort of backed off the materialistic end of things a little bit and sort of chose our educational path based on things that are interesting to us, things that actually matter to us within reason, and worked hard at them, then maybe we would have a lot less midlife crises. And I know there'll be a lot of pushback saying, hey, you need to make a good career or you won't be happy. And I do believe that you need to work hard, but I don't believe that just making a lot of income will make you happy. I think there's a lot more that needs to go into that, and that comes from inner peace. That the happiness is something that happens inside you, not outside you. Happiness is from your internal world, and it helps you affect the outer world and live in the world in a way that is fulfilling and meaningful to you. Just because you're making $90,000 a year doesn't mean that you're actually going to be happy. What if you're haunted by what ifs about not starting that store or taking up that more risky career? I think there's a lot of unhappy people out there who didn't go for it. And a lot of you do need to go to university. A lot of you do need to become a doctor and spend 8 years in university. That's a great thing. We are very certain will give us meaning, not going thousands of dollars into debt to get a random college degree because, that's what I have to do in order to become happy and successful in this world. It's like, bro, you're going to wind up so unhappy, especially if you end up not in the career that you studied for, which I think something like 50% of college graduates don't end up in the career they studied for. It's like, bro, now you're saddled with a lot of debt for something that didn't even pay off. I got lucky. I got all my tuition before I went in. And, I blew $15,000 on a diploma that I will never use and has zero value to me. So that's something that I have to live with. But there's a lot of people out there who hate the job that they got with their diploma or their bachelor's degree. And it's like, well, all I'm asking for is, I'm not trying to knock university or education or anything. I'm just saying, be self-aware and take the time to actually know who you are and what you want and weigh the risk and decide if it's actually something that's right for you. That's all I'm saying. Don't let the materialistic side of things, drive you to making decisions that will end up leaving you empty. Don't let them tell you, hey, you need to buy a $500,000 home by this age. Therefore, you need to have a degree so you can get this job so you can buy a $500,000 home and 2 cars and have a boat and live a great lifestyle. It's like, but what if you don't want those things? Well, if you don't want those things, then you're happy to live of a more minimalistic lifestyle and spend your extra time volunteering or doing a side hustle on the side. Well, then you don't need that big of an income. Then you might not need to go to university to get a degree that you don't even want. And so all I'm saying is that it's different for everybody, and we shouldn't be so narrowed into this one size fits all program. I think kids should be allowed the freedom to decide what they want and take the time to actually try different things and figure themselves out. Because unfortunately, no one's taught how to be self-aware, by the time they're 18, and then they're pressured with all this pressure to be make a huge $60,000 decision before you actually know what you want to do with your life. And it's like, yeah, I think that's creating a lot of unhappiness. And so I would just recommend slowing down a bit and being like, yo, what do I actually want? Do I actually want to live that lifestyle that requires me to have a $90,000 job that I don't like? Therefore, do I actually need that diploma? Just ask yourself those questions. I think we need to have a more open discussion and conversation about that. And with that being said, I think I've sort of gone around in circles enough times. I think you guys get what I'm trying to say. just be self-aware and honest with yourself. Happiness doesn't come from material possessions. It comes from within. And I'll be talking about that a lot more on my channel in the future. So be sure to like and subscribe and, stick around. There's going to be a lot more cool stuff. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Yes, I want to end.